Hola, guys. Welcome to the Painter Files presents Painter's Breakfast. I'm your host, Giles Blake, as you well know. Let's have some breakfast, yeah? I got a chai tea from Tacoma Bevco, one of my favorites, and I also got their salmon toast. So it's like poached egg, pickled vegetables, onions, some salmon on some toasted bread. Fire. How are you? How are things? How is life? What is new? I had a interesting weekend that was kind of infuriating. So I live in a condo. My wife and I bought a condo about 11 years ago, and when we bought a condo, there's certain things you have to deal with having condos that I think people aren't really expecting, so to speak. One of those things is occasionally when something goes wrong, they have to come into your unit and try and fix things if it affects other people. But oftentimes you're kind of caught, you're kind of stuck with the bag if it's something that like you have that's specifically yours. So we have a kitchen, like most of you, and in said kitchen, there's pipes, and in said pipes, there can be problems. Now, I don't actually have anything in my possession that are my pipes specifically that are leaking or anything of that nature. But what this lovely man who did not identify himself to Alec properly, hey, what's going on? Smitty! This lovely man did not identify himself properly, told my wife while I was at work at the shop that there was a pipe that's leaking in between the floors. So it's not my building, it's not my unit, it's not the unit below me, it's not the unit above me. It's somewhere in between one of those, like in the floor. Um, so they need to find said leak and fix it. They told Alec that they were one of the thing. This random individual from a plumbing thing told Alec that they were going to rip apart our kitchen to find said leak, which doesn't make any sense because once again, cabinets and countertops, and then under floor is where the issue was coming from. So they told her they were going to basically have to crowbar and tear apart our kitchen, in which I informed them to get the hell out of my house because that's not going to happen without a sizable check from them because we built out our kitchen. We have nice countertops, we have custom cabinets, we have all that stuff. Empress, what's up? So, not a choice. Not gonna happen. Also, underneath us is a giant maintenance room. So I'm like, go through the ceiling in the maintenance room. You're not going through my. You're not destroying my kitchen. Like in a perfect world, wow, I'm just getting all these people. What's up, man? How's it going? I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Hey, um, so yeah, it's like a maintenance room. So it's not even an actual unit. So they can do that with their stuff, or else they can cut me like a check for like 20 grand or something like that, to then have my to buy new countertops and fixtures, and we can stay in a hotel with the cats and whatnot while they do this. I am Caribbean. I'm from Trinidad. I've just lived here long enough that I I talk a little different. It's partially because most people don't understand us when we talk, so it's easier. Just hear my dad. He has more of a traditional accent. So when I get around all them, then it all comes out. But typically on stuff like this is how I sound. I mean, I could talk like I could definitely kind of do the whole thing, but it's not gonna make sense to most people who come around. Like you see me live in places, we'll line, we'll have all types of conversations, we'll talk about art, we'll make things, it'll be great. But it's a little different for the most part. Like my family's from Trinidad, Panama, and Brazil. So there's an accent. There's an accent there. But it comes out more when I hear it than it comes out. If that's clarifying for you, Empress. Yeah. I mean, the accent definitely came out when Cuz showed up with talking about he was gonna destroy everything. I want to hear the Trini tongue. So he shows up. He shows up in the spot, and it's just this crazy, weird thing where he wants to mash up everything and just destroy and pull apart and just destruct all. I'm like, nah, man, you needs to be gone. Get up out my home. See, there you go. It gets in there. It's there. I have to work up to it. But yeah, no, I told him be gone. You can't be here, acting all crazy. No nonsense. Come with nonsense. Gonna pull the walls down and do all this stuff. It's not happening. Nah. Won't be none. You know. So a little British there. I don't know why. I've been watching Spider-Verse too much. That's my problem. Yeah. So, other than that, the art is good, the food is good, the family is good. So thank you for everyone and your kind words and your blessings the last week or so. I've been mostly just running around trying to get stuff done. I got the radio show. The radio show's going really well, actually. It was really cool. I had a good audience last week, yesterday, and we just jammed out together. It was a lot of Buena Vista Social Club. Celia Cruz. Black Stallion. Get some soca in there. Jeez. You love when your brain goes. Herbie Hancock. Nina Simone. Sade. I have this extensive radio background. So it kind of all came out really natural. But it was good. It was really good. Got a lot of good vibes, good messages. I wish the app had its stuff better. Sounds like one of the GTA 5 radio stations. Yeah, no, that feels about right. We were jamming though. We were jamming out. It was good. It was this real earth strong sound, as the saying goes, for those who don't know. And I figure as time goes by, I'll change up kind of the sound. It'll be heavier on one side, then it will be the other. I think I might do a soca station next week. I haven't thought about it. Introduce some of y'all to my people's music specifically. It's always funny when you introduce people to the music of your land and they're unaware of its existence at all. Like they've discovered, like you're introducing them to chocolate ice cream when all they've had is vanilla. And it's just beautiful. Well, actually, when all you've had is Coca-Cola and I introduce you to Panchakram or Sorrel or Mobi, all these like traditional drinks, ginger beer and such, I think is really beautiful. It's such like a gorgeous culture. Like food, music, and just culture. Happy Pride, by the way. It's also, of course, it's several months all in once, which it is always. Because we only got 12, so we got to share. It's also Caribbean Heritage Month. So, you know, wind down the road. I'm working with a friend of mine, Matthew Tucker. They've got all gone. Nobody trying to call. Thanks for the treating time. Okay. So I'm trying to call. Till next time, yeah. So my friend, Matthew Tucker, they have this Trini kitchen, or it's Kitchen Trini, and it's on New Hampshire Avenue in DC, near the embassies. So they made a restaurant, and my friend is a food reviewer, Darren, and he goes and tries stuff. So I hook them up together. So hopefully they'll do like some collabs. It'll help both of them. It's really nice to like just, I don't know, it's really nice to help each other, help everybody from the island. Like Trinidad and Tobago, we do so much together, and then we come here and we're slightly separated by time and space. And it's just interesting when you get the opportunities to just help each other get there, you know? And I'm just happy. I'm happy that I have the ability and the opportunity to help each other get there, you know? Even if it's not directly for me. Like, I just want to help them. I don't get anything out of it. I don't get free food. I don't get our projects or anything out of this. I just want them to succeed. And somebody asked me yesterday about all the art projects and the murals and like young people coming through and asking for things. Satisfaction is its own reward sometimes. Absolutely. What was I saying? So I have these young artists that come to me and they ask for advice on things. And I help them when I can. But in some cases, like I have to be honest with some people, like you just kind of need to fail a couple times. You need to fail. You need to figure out how to be the best version that you can get to be by yourself without anyone else's help. And like that's your baseline. That's your starting point. Because there's a lot of very talented people out there, they just don't know what the next step is. And what's worked for me is not necessarily going to work for you. So you have to kind of try and fail a couple times. I mean, all the things that have worked for me have come through success and failure. More failure than success. Success is like here compared to failures. Like, your man does not always succeed at every attempt he does. El Mentor is best teachers help others find their own way. Good for you. I hope so. I mean, I don't want people to feel like I'm abandoning them. I guess is like a big worry I have. This concept that I'm breaking into Trinity all of a sudden, so you'll apologize again. It's this concept that when you go about all these places and you see these things, that they give you this idea that you will come to this conclusion. Very bad. You will come to these conclusions when you reach them via your own timeline. Like the Earth goes around the sun, and Mars goes around the sun, and the Moon goes around the Earth. And all these things are happening, and spinning, and going, but they're all reaching their destinations at the time they're meant to reach their destinations. If you are Mars, you're not going to become a moon, It doesn't make any sense. We have crows and we have blue jays. The crows are bullies. No, sorry, reverse that. The blue jays are bullies. The crows just kind of fly around and act crazy. But at no point in time, like, if the crows start acting like the blue jays, the crows don't become blue jays. They're simply crows pretending to be blue jays. A lot of art is like that. You can be yourself as an artist, or you can be an artist trying to be another artist. But that's not your destination. That's not your goal. We see all these like places and things and just everything. I told people yesterday on the YouTube, on the Instagram app, I was like, you can reach any goal you wish to achieve. The problem you're probably going to run across at some point in time is you're not going to probably achieve it on this app. And I was like, that's a very difficult thing for people to come across. Where it's like, well, if I do this and I do this, then I should have this success because this other person had this success. But it's like, it doesn't really work that way. It doesn't work that way with apps. It doesn't work that way with all these things because they change algorithms. It's one of the main reasons why I'm trying to be very neutral with how I sound because it's hard to pronounce words otherwise. Yeah. So you have to, in a lot of ways, figure out that when a place charges money to get you to reach certain pinnacles of famousness, that it is not something they will allow people to reach organically. Because if it is, everybody will do it that way. Nobody will pay for anything. Like ads and programs and all these things that they offer for money. So you have to kind of understand that. It's nothing that you're doing wrong. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. It's just not fair. I mean, that's the truth. Like, people constantly say it's not fair. You're right, it's not fair. It's not. It'd be nice if it was, but it's not. You're playing a sport you've never played before with rules you don't know, trying to beat something that may or may not even be real. Over all the different social medias, I have thousands of people who like my work. I don't have millions. I don't have 40,000. I don't have any of those things. I also don't need them. Like, I'm very successful at being a painter. It's just one of those things. Hey, cat. It's just one of those things where, like, you have to understand. Yo, everybody's showing up right now. This is so cool. Superman, how's it going? Yeah, there's just that whole aspect of you're an artist. In this case, in this scenario, you're an artist. You're doing well for yourself. You're making art. People are interacting with it, even by a small scale, and they interact with it every single time. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, some of you you've never gone out and tried to do an art show. Like an actual show. Like tabletop, art festival, so on and so forth. Like, to get 30 people to come up to you and say how much they love your work at a festival per piece is huge. Don't get me wrong, I still want to sell it because I'm there to sell it, but there's a certain amount of, like, just acknowledgement that comes into it, that it's like, okay, cool. And if you've done this long enough, you know that, like, there are customers that will be later customers when they see your work. And there are customers that are like customers right now that you'll never ever see anything from them ever again. I remember doing arts shows and festivals and selling like 5 pieces to people in one setting. And I never hear from those people ever again. I never see a post. I never see a tag. I never see anything. Period. From those people. And then there are other people who, they take a card, they talk about your work to other people, they get you sales, they buy things, they become your friends, you hang out, you get to know more people, you get to do more stuff, you feel good doing and spending your time having these events. They'll come and sit with you. I had one friend who literally just came and sat with me throughout a whole festival. And we drank coffee and we partake in fun things and we made jokes and we played games and they interacted with customers along with me. And it was great. It made the whole event that much more fun. I remember making coloring pages, and like they sat there with some crayons with a bunch of kids, and they just did the whole thing, and it was just nice, Sometimes like those events are just done so you make friends. Like, it'd be nice if everything was, some shop in the mall where people come in and buy your stuff, but like these are interesting things. You learn pricing, you learn presentation, you learn interacting with people. A joke I used to have with people back in the day was, if you have a hard time talking to people, you need to come up with a character that has like a hat or sunglasses or whatever, and you're gonna wear that hat and you're gonna wear those sunglasses, you're gonna do those shows, and you're gonna be that person, because that person doesn't have the problem of social anxiety or whatever. You just do as you do. Yo, what's up? How's it going? I'm just Lyman. And yeah, you learn how to interact with people, how to figure out what's going on. Hi, producer Tom. We got a mouse. There you go. And yeah, you just figure out and learn how to. It's very on the job training, I guess is kind of the best way to describe it. Like no one's going to prepare you for what it's like. I've had people who were very rude. Just Lyman, having a good time. What's up with you, man? How's the festival? I saw you're doing some musics. Um, yeah, it's just interesting. You have to figure it all out. You have to come around and understand that we're learning as we go. It's a whole process of learning what is successful and what is just growing pains, and they intermix. They make it's there's a dish in Trinidad called roti. Roti is it's almost like a burrito, I guess is the best way I can think to describe it to people who don't know, have no reference. Um, so it's a West Indian version of a burrito in a lot of ways. It's a lot heavier. I think it's better, honestly. So it's got curry. Some people put meat. There's always like chickpeas and potatoes and all these things that are inside of it, and it's really delicious. And it's got this stuff called dalpuri inside of it, which is almost like a peas, not like green peas, like pigeon peas on the inside. So when you rip the bread to eat with it, there's like dry stuff everywhere. I'm trying to figure out the most like understandable way to describe this. And it's its own thing. It's just its own thing, but it's really beautiful and it tastes really good, and it makes me. It's one of my favorite foods in the whole world. I would happily fill my belly till I am laying on the floor on my back, like oh, because it's just so good. I have it with some sorrel and maybe some mobi. Sometimes I mix them together, which isn't always good. Or I take like a ginger beer and I mix it with the mobi. Mobi is like a hibiscus tea, like syrup tea that we drink. Jamaica, I guess, is what it's referred to in a lot of Spanish countries and or Latin countries, Latinx, as it goes. I'm Afro-Latino, so I don't know. I play with all the options as it goes. And it's just one of those foods that's just really amazing. It's like mofongo. Mofongo is probably one of the best foods in the history of foods. I'm talking about these foods and it's making me hungry for other foods right now. Do you understand the passion in this? But yeah, it's one of those. So I'm going to go work on some artwork. I have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the morning. Please check it out. Painter Files Podcast. I got the radio show, Painters Radio, on Sundays at 7:30 on the AMP app. And yeah, you can always find me here on either or. Instagram, Painter Files. Sorry, Instagram's on this side. Instagram, Jaws_Blake. YouTube, Painter Files. So until next time, I will see you. Be good to yourselves. Have a great weekend. Hello, Tom. And I'll catch you next time. Painter out. Ciao. Bye. Boop, boop, boop. always and forever.